In a remote village nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, there lay a hidden monastery known as the Temple of the Lotus. It was a place whispered about in hushed tones, a refuge for weary souls seeking wisdom and solace. Among those drawn to its serene walls was a young man named Hiroshi, burdened by the weight of past failures and self-doubt. Hiroshi arrived at the temple on a misty morning, his clothes tattered and his spirit weary. As he crossed the threshold, he noticed a vast lotus pond stretching across the courtyard. The flowers stood tall and proud, rising above the murky waters that had once seemed impassable. An elderly monk, Master Liang, observed Hiroshi's fascination. "The lotus rises from the mud," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "It does not fight the darkness below, but embraces it as part of its journey." Hiroshi remained silent, but those words lingered within him, stirring a longing to understand their deeper meaning. Life before the temple had been relentless for Hiroshi. He had once been a promising artisan in his village, sculpting intricate wooden carvings admired by many. But a series of setbacks, failed commissions, lost opportunities, and his own crippling perfectionism had left him feeling defeated. He believed he was sinking, much like the muddy waters that nourished the lotus. At the temple, Master Liang gave Hiroshi simple yet arduous tasks: sweeping leaves, carrying water, and maintaining the lotus pond. Each day felt like a test of patience, but Hiroshi did not complain, but instead tried to find solace in the quiet rhythm of his work. One evening, frustrated by his lack of progress, he blurted out, "Why must I toil in the mud when I came seeking answers?" Master Liang smiled knowingly. "The mud is not your enemy, Hiroshi. It is your teacher. Growth requires both struggle and surrender." Hiroshi struggled to accept this, longing for quick success, yet he continued his labor, determined to find meaning before leaving the temple. As the seasons changed, Hiroshi's doubts deepened. He watched the lotus flowers bloom effortlessly, seemingly untouched by the grime beneath. One stormy night, overwhelmed by despair, he considered leaving the temple. Sensing his turmoil, Master Liang handed him a single lotus seed and said, "Plant this and observe." Reluctantly, Hiroshi buried the seed in the thick mud and waited. For some time, nothing seemed to happen. Frustration grew until one morning he noticed a tiny green shoot breaking through the surface. Suddenly, he understood growth was happening all along, even when he couldn't see it. He realized that his failures had not been wasted efforts, but necessary lessons. With renewed determination, he began working on his carvings again, embracing imperfection as part of his craft. Hiroshi's perspective shifted. He no longer feared failure, but welcomed it as a vital step in his journey. His carvings took on new life, each piece telling a story of resilience and acceptance. Word of his artistry spread, and people sought his work not for its perfection, but for its soul. Hiroshi eventually returned to his village, not as a broken man, but as a teacher. He shared the wisdom of the lotus with aspiring artisans, guiding them through their struggles and encouraging them to embrace the mud of life. One day, as he walked through the village square, he saw a young apprentice struggling with his craft. Hiroshi sat beside him and said, "The mud you face now will one day nourish your greatest bloom. Trust the process." He drew on the teachings of Master Liang and reminded the young apprentice of the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, "No mud, no lotus." He also advised him to draw strength from Lao Tzu, who taught, "New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings." His legacy became one of resilience and grace, inspiring others to rise above their own challenges and bloom in their own time. The lotus in the mud teaches us that struggles are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth. Each challenge we face is a stepping stone, preparing us for the beauty that lies ahead. Letting go of resistance and embracing our journey allows us to rise above and thrive. As the Zen saying goes, a lotus blooms in the muddiest waters, untouched and radiant. Like the lotus, we too can find strength and beauty in the midst of life's struggles, untainted and full of life. The art of rising above is not about avoiding the mud, but about trusting that it is part of our transformation.